On JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, St. Elizabeth farm store robber nabbed. Within the space of 1 hour, the St. Elizabeth police arrested a man who held up a farm store in Barber Hall in the parish on Thursday, December 9. The incident began unfolding about 3:15 p.m. when a man reportedly entered the farm store and pretended to be a customer. It is reported that when the legitimate customers left the store, he pulled a handgun and demanded cash from the workers. He allegedly escaped with a cellular phone valued at $14,000. An hour later, a police team from the Pedro Plains police station in the parish was traveling along the Richpen Main Road when they spotted a motorcycle with a man fitting the description of the robber aboard, along with another man. The team pursued them and intercepted the motorcycle on the Williamsfield Main Road in the parish. One of the men escaped, while the other was held. The motorcycle was seized. The identity of the man arrested is being withheld as the probe continues. St. Thomas taxi operator dies after crashing into trees. A taxi operator died in St. Thomas this morning after his car ran off the road and crashed into trees. He has been identified as 74-year-old Bensford Bogle of Newland in the parish. The incident happened sometime after 9 o'clock along the Pondside Main Road. It is reported that Bogle dropped off a passenger and exited his car with the engine running. It is further reported that while re-entering the car, he stepped on the accelerator, causing the car to speed off. He was reportedly unable to regain control of the car, which ran off the road and crashed into trees near the Yallas Ponds. Emergency responders were called to the scene. The police indicated that Bogle was pinned down by a tree that was on his neck. A team from the Yallas fire station was alerted, and Bogle was removed from the vehicle. He was rushed to the Princess Margaret Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Businessman Beachy Stout and co-accused further remanded. Businessman Everton Beachy Stout MacDonald, who is charged with the deaths of his two wives, is to return to court on February 3 next year when the matter will again be mentioned. MacDonald, 67, appeared remotely on Thursday in the Home Circuit Court to have his legal representation in both matters settled. The court was informed that legal representation was settled in one of the cases. In the case of the July 2020 death of his second wife, Tony Hamilton MacDonald, the businessman is being represented by attorney Earl Hamilton. Oscar Barnes is charged jointly with MacDonald in that case. Barnes is being represented by Ernest Davis. No representation has been settled for MacDonald in relation to the May 2, 2009 murder of his first wife, Merlin Petal MacDonald. Barnes was granted bail in May, but he has not been able to take up the offer because his place of abode has not been approved. At least 2 previous submissions have been rejected by the police. His lawyer on Thursday presented another address to the investigating officer, who has been ordered by the court to complete checks by December 17. Meanwhile, the court heard that documents are outstanding in the Tony Hamilton MacDonald murder case. It was, however, informed that the Crown is ready to proceed with Merlin MacDonald matter. Beachy Stout was previously represented by attorneys Berth Samuels and Matthew Hyatt. However, they have informed the court that those arrangements were in relation to an application for bail for MacDonald, which was denied by the court. The lawyers are to return disclosure materials to the prosecution by Friday so that arrangements can be made for the documents to be handed over to MacDonald's new attorney. Barnes was further remanded until December 20, while MacDonald was remanded until February 3, 2022. Man allegedly of Unsound mine killed in St. James. Tawana Scarlett, whose brother Shamar was killed on November 13 after being attacked by angry residents in Comfort Hall, St. James, believes that he was struggling with mental issues. According to police reports, Shamar, 24, who was suspected of burning down an elderly person's house, was chopped and beaten by residents. He was taken to the Conroe Regional Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Scarlett, who lives in another parish, said she heard that her brother was standing at a corner shop when he was attacked. He didn't realize that the men were heading to him, but someone at the shop told him but it was too late. Him couldn't run again, so them rushed down upon him and began chopping him. Them chop him nigh head and upon him on, she said. It is alleged that Shamar tried to run but fell in a nearby ditch. I heard it took some time for the police to take him out because they were asking persons for help but nobody volunteered. By the time the fire brigade come to take him out, he was already dead, she added between tears. Scarlett said she was told that Shamar had been acting strangely following a breakup with his girlfriend. He was in Spanish Town, but said he was going to visit a family member, but he was uncertain where exactly them live. He never have no fear, so I send him in fear for him to return to St. James. But he called me later to tell me he was hungry and he purchased food with the money. was also saying some really rude stuff to me, and that was not like him, because Shamar and I are very close. He also stated that he was staying with someone in Spanish Town and returned home a few weeks later, she said. A few weeks later, Scarlett said she got a strange phone call from the woman Shamar said he was staying with. The woman said him win the lotto and he want me to go and help him to pick it up. Me tell her I have no time to do that and ask her why she not go and help him to pick up him lotto check, she said. Scarlett said months later, her mother told her that she was getting reports that Shamar was acting violently. He sounded like he was going off, and persons were saying that he always had a machete with him. I don't know if it is true, but that is what I heard. He sounded like he had a mental problem. No one took him to get medical attention. We're in a family group chat. Some asked why them never call the police, and them said them call the police, and the police come but they only take statements, she said. His claim is heartless, because Shamar just wanted help. He wasn't in his right mind when he did what he did, but he didn't deserve death. More guns seized in 2021 than 2020, but most murders still committed with the gun. Despite seizing 80 more guns and 767 rounds of ammunition in 2021 than it did last year, the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF still grapples with murders committed with the use of a gun. Just recently, cops seized 8 guns in one weekend, which have been included in the tally of 640 removed from the streets this year, along with 8,993 rounds of ammunition. The breakdown of the firearms as provided by the JCF indicates that they seized 472 pistols, 45 rifles, 14 submachine guns, 14 shotguns, 67 revolvers, and 28 homemade firearms. In 2020, cops removed from the streets 43 rifles, 10 submachine guns, 20 shotguns, 378 pistols, 70 revolvers, and 39 homemade guns. Even with frequent lockdowns and curfews and the fact that less incidents of shooting have occurred than in 2020, murders this year have surpassed 1,332, which is roughly a 10% increase over the corresponding period from January 1 to November 13, 2020, when there were 1,213 slains. The St. Andrews South Police Division accounted for 156 murders, St. James 143, St. Catherine South 127, and Kingston Western 103. Other divisions island-wide recorded murder figures below 100. Commenting on the increase in murders, despite the siege of more firearms, security expert Jace McKay said that gun seizures are great, but Jamaica being a small island with no navy, the amount of guns coming in illegally far surpasses what we could possibly seize. Our activities at our ports make it far easier for guns to be imported into the country illegally. The 640 is an incredible effort by the JCF and JDF, but will it necessarily impact crime in the long run? I say no, because there are just so much more guns. McKay added that the increase in gun seizures is an indication of the high level of crime being experienced by the nation. He pointed out that seizures usually increase when police and military operations become heightened due to high crime. He said the police and military are doing a commendable job finding the weapons, but highlighted that there are far more guns out there that can be seized. Sometimes there's a misunderstanding about gun seizures. Gun seizures go up when operations go up. You'll only have more operations when you have more homicides. The higher the crime is, the more police operations. The more police operations, the more guns are seized. If you have low crime, you won't have as much police operations, so you don't have as many guns seized. The operations are a result of the high crime. And when I say high crime, I'm speaking specifically to homicides, because other crimes are down, McKay said. What will impact crime is when we start to get the guys who are using the guns, because those guys are in limited supply. As good and commendable as gun seizures are, I think we should focus a little bit more on keeping them when we catch them, he said. Government won't force Jamaicans to take COVID vaccine, says PM. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says he would not force Jamaicans to take the COVID-19 vaccination, even if he had the power to do so. Earlier this week, the National COVID-19 Vaccination Operationalization Task Force called for the introduction of vaccination or test programs in customer-facing public entities and key economic sectors. But speaking in Trelawney on Thursday, Mr. Holness said he did not want to force anyone to take the vaccine. The issue is not so much resistance to vaccine. It is uncertainty about vaccines. It is the hesitation. And what we've adopted as a strategy is that we can't force anyone to be vaccinated. And even if we could, we wouldn't. What we try to do is to try to constantly educate our people, to constantly reassure them, and to make the vaccines available, he declared. The task force said it received legal advice suggesting the courts are likely to rule that the use of test or vaccination policies to protect public health is demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. Up to Thursday, less than 20% of the population targeted for inoculation had been fully vaccinated. Jamaica reports 51 new COVID-19 cases, 2 deaths. Jamaica on Thursday reported 51 new cases of COVID-19 and 2 virus-related deaths. This brings the total number of confirmed cases recorded on the island since the start of the pandemic to 91,652 and the death toll to 2,418. Of the newly reported cases, there were 23 females and 28 males with ages ranging from 7 months to 95 years. The cases were recorded in Westmoreland 9, Hanover 9, Kingston and St. Andrew 8, St. James 8, St. Anne 7, St. Mary 4, Manchester 3, St. Catherine 1, St. Elizabeth 1 and Trelawney 1. Meanwhile, the latest victims were a 71-year-old man and a 31-year-old woman from St. James. Both deaths were previously under investigation. The deaths occurred between August and September 11, 2021. 2 other deaths were reported under investigation. The country also recorded 48 new recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 63,358. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.